time for this week's CEO blog, and joining me today is John Dumsey. John, you have some news out of the Racing Appeals Tribunal and how it works.
I certainly have, Amanda, and there's been a fair bit on social media about Harness Racing's New South Wales demise in the Supreme Court this past week in the Neil Day and Dean McDowell cases. Well, it wasn't in the Supreme Court, it was in the Racing Appeals Tribunal where Neil and Dean took their case. It's the Racing Appeals Tribunal, to explain, is a de novo situation where fresh evidence is put forward. It's the opportunity for participants to take their grievances. If they feel they've been poorly dealt with by the stewards, that's where they take it to. And Neil and Dean eventually got to the Racing Appeals Tribunal, and they dealt with the fact that it was a penalty-only issue. Neil and Dean withdrew their appeal. As such, it was quite a lengthy and expansive appeal. They withdrew it, and the Racing Appeals Tribunal found a penalty that they thought it was suitable, David Amati, and we moved forward. Everybody in the industry, every participant gets that opportunity if they feel they've been poorly dealt with by the stewards as far as the penalty is concerned. Whether Harness Racing New South Wales agrees or not with the decision of the Racing Appeals Tribunal, that is where it sits. It's legislated, and we all should accept it and move on with the matters. Well,
on integrity, stewards here at Harness Racing New South Wales meet on a regular basis. Do you have an update on that, John?
Yeah, I certainly do, and this is important for participants. If they have a situation that they believe the stewards should look at as a group, they take it to the steward at the race course on the time, or ring Graham Locke or Michael Prentice or Reed Sanders and say, well, what can you do about this? What can you do about that? How do we do this? How we do that? Reed and myself meet with the UHRA every 2 months, and we discuss certain issues that are in the industry. It's good to keep those going. So the stewards meet as a group every month, and they discuss these things. What is important, though, and whilst I didn't want to dig into or go into the situation with the greyhound industry, reporting to the stewards instances where a practice that might not quite be beneficial to the welfare of the industry, these should be reported to stewards. They can be reported on a strictly confidential basis, but participants can be comfortable in the fact that they will be treated that way, and they will be treated with some importance by the stewards. We need to investigate. We need to look after ourselves. Again, I'll talk about the greyhound industry and the unfortunate demise that is possibly facing them. We don't want to be in that same category. We need to look after ourselves in the first instance.
Well, John, on a lighter note, we've got the second leg, if you call it, for the Breeders' Challenge series. We've got the Breeders' Alabar, New South Wales Breeders' Challenge Blue Finals at Menangle on Saturday night, and some good fields out of it.
Yes, good fields. Introduced 3 years ago. The Principal Club is a major supporter of this, and as is Harness Racing New South Wales with industry funding. But it's good to see 3 good solid fields. A little bit light on the 2-year-old fillies, but hopefully in the years to come, with other instances of strategies that we have in place, that will build up. There was some concern that the Breeders' Blue would disappear with the announcement of the True Blue bonus, but that's certainly not in the minds of Harness Racing New South Wales or the Principal Club at this time.
There is a review coming up into the Breeders' Challenge series, though?
There is, and that's where every participant will get the opportunity to have their say, and I encourage people at all times to have their say. We did it with the 2-year-old review, we also did it with tax parity, but that's your time. It's too late after the event if you haven't had your say. So that will come up. That will be in respect of how the races are run, heats, finals, anything that anybody wants to put on paper and submit will come under consideration, and that includes the bonuses as well.
All right, well, thanks for your say today, John.
And thank you, Amanda, for your first CEO's note.
It's a pleasure.